Well, welcome to your first day of class. Well, the first week, really. You might not be seeing this on Monday. In any case, I want to make these sorts of, informal, just kind of making sure you have an idea of what's due this week. I want to make these videos so you can watch them. Today, it's mostly just, or this week, kind of, well, today, it's mostly just kind of making sure you can get used to, or making sure you are used to the platform that we're using. And making sure that you know how to, what sort of assignments are due and what's expected of you. So I'm going to start off by looking at, by showing you rather, Moodle. Now, if you've seen this video, you've probably already experienced with Moodle. Let me make sure I go to the right desktop. That's this one right here. Okay, so going into Moodle, where's Moodle? There. Okay, so in Moodle, of course, you have your, the basic introduction sort of stuff. I do have a link to the syllabus in here if you didn't get the email that I sent out before, and there's also, I have my brief little introduction there. Textbook, if you haven't already, we are using MyOpenMath. You'll need to go on to myopenmath.com. I have the course ID here, and we'll use Math is Cool as the enrollment key. Let's see. I think that's about all you need from that page. There's some information. Oh, I skipped it right over getting math help. So as far as if you need help, because obviously, it's nice to be able to talk to somebody. There are links here for Missoula College tutoring. If I go ahead and click on that link. There's drop-in tutoring, which is either in person or via Zoom. I'm not positive that this is updated for this semester yet. Usually it takes a week or two since these are typically students doing this, doing the tutoring. Usually it takes a couple of weeks to get everything sorted out and get all of this accurate. So I'm not sure if this is this semester's information, but by the time that you need to get some tutoring, this should be up to date. But it's, last semester they definitely had via Zoom. And actually, I'm kind of thinking it might be this semester because we didn't have in-person tutoring last semester. So this might actually be up to date. But, information to be able to get to that tutoring. That is, like I said, like it says, it's drop-in tutoring, which means you can just show up and ask questions. Now, the downside of that is that you might have to wait for somebody else to finish what they're doing, or there might be a queue of people. So that can be problematic. If you know you're going to need frequent tutoring, then you'll want to make sure you do by appointment. There's that. Okay, so there's also, so that's over here. That's actually in the basement of this building. I'm in the Missoula College building. If you want to get some help from people over at the Mountain campus, there's a link for that as well. Same caveats there. I'm not sure if that's up to date for this semester yet. But if you want more, these tend to be, you can see these are geared more towards higher courses. This is going to be able to do through Calc 2 and Stats 216. So if you're looking for, the people who are teaching this, they may be, well, again, they're students, but they're probably farther along in their schooling. So typically they are, at least. I don't know. That's not 100% guaranteed, but oftentimes that you'll get people who are more farther along doing the stuff on the other campus. That's actually interesting. That's how I kind of got into teaching math. I was actually one of the tutors that was doing that. And I was like, hey, this doesn't even feel like work. I actually like teaching. And so I just kind of pursued that. And that's how I got into teaching. Also, you can see I do have some office hours, Tuesdays from 11 to noon and Thursdays from 1 to 2. That's going to be just drop in as well, which again means that there may be other people. There may be other people there, or there may not be. I'll just be sitting I kind of expect to just be sitting in an empty Zoom room most of the time. So you might have to, if you show up, you might have to get my attention first. I might be doing something else. Who knows? This is all part of the experience, right? All right. Let's see. We have other resources, class notes. This is some stuff taken from, so Lauren Fern is, she was teaching over on the Mountain campus, and she was teaching this course over there. And just recently, this semester actually, she moved over, we got her for this campus. This is material that, that she used in a previous incarnation of teaching Math 111. You can see it's spring 2021. So that she has some stuff that she's saved, and that's what this page is. I actually haven't looked at these old YouTube videos, factoring practice and factoring practice solutions. I haven't looked at those, so whatever. That's stuff that she provided, so I just put it on here. I figure give you guys more resources if you need them. Let's see. As far as submitting tests, the tests will be on, what do you call it? And they'll be in MyOpenMath. So you'll complete them, you'll submit them in there, but then you'll also, after you complete the test, while you were doing the test, you should take, actually write things neatly and write your work on paper, and you'll submit that work to me here in Moodle, this test work submission area right there. And that is how I will be able to give you to grade your work for partial credit, because I'm a big believer that a lot of stuff in math, you really need that whole partial credit aspect. If you get 90% of the work and you just missed a negative right at the very end, you should hopefully get 90% of the credit and just lose some points for missing the negative at the end. If you don't submit, if I can't follow through your work, if I don't see what your work is, then you don't have that option. There's also, there's a lot of times where I want to see what your thinking is when you're doing this, when you're doing the work. So I am requiring work to be submitted on your tests, and as a benefit for that, you will get the, you'll get the ability to get partial credit on questions. So you'll do that in here. You'll just click that link to submit it, and then you can I guess it'll look a little different for you. You'll have the ability to upload your. I recommend just taking a picture of your work. If you have a scanner, that's great. You can scan it and submit it to me. I personally think just taking a picture of it with your phone and submitting it with your phone, just submitting those pictures, that would work just fine with me. The only caveat there is make sure that I can actually read it. I've had a couple of people submit work like this, and the lighting was so horrible that I couldn't make out half the page. I told them that, well, whatever, you don't need to know that. Yeah, try to just make sure it can be read, because otherwise it's not going to be any good to me. So that is that. The schedule, I have a hopeful schedule here. I imagine this is how the semester should end up. You can see I have stuff scheduled for every single day, even though there may not be something due on the day. So section 1.2, I only have one thing that's due for section 1.2, and I think I have it set to be due on September 16th. Let me just double check that really quick. Quick way, this is also good for you. You can see how to check your due dates. So this is just in MyOpenMath. Clicking on the calendar here, you can see September 16th right here. This is September 16th. You can see section 1.2 is due. So that actually does line up exactly with the schedule that I have on Moodle there. This is my first semester using MyOpenMath, and so I'm still learning how to do some stuff on it. So if you see some weirdness, if you think it's not as it should be, feel free to send me an email. I mean, in general, feel free to send me an email or send me a message or post on the forums or whatever. I'm going to be checking all of that stuff regularly. trying to keep communication open here, both directions. So both me communicating with you and getting it back from you, because online learning can be tricky, can be difficult. It can feel lonely. I don't want you to feel like you're alone here, because I am, my goal here is to be here to support you. And so, yeah, in any case, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's see, we were talking about, I have stuff scheduled every day. The reason for this is because math is, and learning in general, is not something you can do in one big marathon session. If you want to try to learn how to do, factoring, well, what's a good example for this class? If you want to try to learn your trigonometric functions, you can't just spend one day working on that and expect to be able to not only understand the information, but retain it. It requires repeated exposure, repeated learning. What's actually going on, if you think about the learning process, you're actually writing stuff in your brain. And when you kind of tax your brain a lot, you'll notice if you're really learning, if you're effectively learning, you should be getting tired. That's because it takes a lot of energy to rewrite your brain, to form these little creases and, setting the neurons and whatever neurochemistry is going on. It takes a lot of energy, and you need to spread that out over a long period of time. You need to be able to, when you're learning, if you get tired, you need to be able to take a break and allow your mind to catch up, take a nap, whatever. I realize naps aren't very realistic, but hopefully you get my point. And to that end, make sure when you're studying, I do not recommend studying late at night. I realize sometimes it can't be avoided. Sometimes it's just necessary. But if you're tired already when you try to go to learn, you have finite resources. And if you've already used all of your mental resources for the day, then trying to sit down and learn, it's going to be that much harder. And you already have enough going against you. Try to make this as easy on yourself as possible. So when you do go to learn, make sure you're well rested. That getting a good night's sleep, it is important. If you haven't already started to try to develop a good sleep schedule, I realize started talking about math, and now I'm talking about a sleep schedule. Make sure you have a consistent sleep schedule and try to stick to it as best as you can. It really does help your mental health. It helps your ability to learn, all that stuff. It's really interconnected. All right. So keep getting on tangents and forgetting what I was talking about. So make sure you're well rested when you go to study. Make sure you have an area, some sort of surroundings that are without distractions. I think I put this in the email, but it bears repeating. Make sure you don't have, don't be sending text messages, watching your social media. Don't be doing that stuff while you're studying, because every time, if you're focused on something and you have that concentration, and then you come over here and you focus on something else, it takes time to get back into the focus where you were. And so we call this context switching. And that context switching takes time. I'm sorry, I accidentally hit the microphone, sorry. That context switching takes time, and it takes more energy and more effort and whatnot. And if you find yourself having trouble concentrating, it's probably because of these distractions. If you're watching YouTube in a different window, if you have the TV on or something like that, all of these things distract you and they pull you away from being able to get that concentration. The concentration is really what you need. And so, it's, the whole process of learning is, it takes effort. It really does take a lot of effort. And, so yeah, there's that. All right. So in any case, let's see. I just realized I probably should have switched back to my face when I'm talking like this. I'll try to get better about this sort of stuff. All right. So in any case, that's the schedule. bonus video. This one, it's relevant later on in the semester, so I actually hit it. I'll make it visible when it becomes relevant for you guys when we start talking about the content where it'll actually make sense. And I actually, this video actually kind of made me think about it. In any case, I'm hoping to get some other bonus videos, some other, kind of lighthearted content that's related to this class. Let's see. So in any case, MyOpenMath. Let's go into this class. Obviously, I already clicked on the calendar. So that's a good way to get an idea of when you have, upcoming due dates and such. I don't recommend going there. Just that's probably not the best first place to go. Instead, this stuff that's laid out right here is probably the best place to kind of start with. So you can see, well, it says start here. You might read through this stuff. Obviously, there's a couple people who've already started posting in the virtual cafe. So introduce yourself, read through the introductions and see who else in the class is who else is in the class and introduce yourself to them. This isn't just a me to you sort of thing. The whole point of this is so you guys can interact with one another as well, because I'm not that interesting. I'm also not that social, frankly. I'm kind of an introvert. And so I tend not to talk very much. Well, with when I'm teaching is the obvious exception there. So I tend not to be the best person to socialize with. However, if you want to meet some of your classmates, that's really the place to do it. Would be starting off by looking at some of these introductions. I hit back. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go in here, the virtual cafe. You can see there's a few people who have introduced themselves. Say hi. Read through those, see who else is taking this class with you. I know it seems weird. We're here to learn math, but the social aspect, we are really social creatures. As much as I would like to be kind of on my own sometimes, like I said, I'm an introvert. We really do need, we need to know that other people are going through this same struggle with us. We need to interact with them. We need to do all that sort of stuff. So in any case, let's see, if you're on MyOpenMath, obviously, well, I guess there's this video in here. Where's the video? Is it in here? I forgot where it is. Oh, it's in how to use MyOpenMath. There is a video in here, YouTube video. It's a good idea to walk through that or to watch through that. I'm not going to repeat all of that information because that's obviously repetitious. So I'll just expect that you kind of watched that. Let's see. So starting off with, assuming you kind of got through all that stuff, there's, also I should probably say about calculators. Let's see. I do think that you'll probably need a graphing calculator for this course. The TI, what do I have? TI 83, I think is what it is. Let me look really quick. Let's get it out here. It's the TI. Yeah, it's the TI 83 plus. This is the one I have. And so when I'm doing examples, I'll be using this calculator. If you want to emulate that, that's great. It's a bit of an expensive calculator, but they last forever. That one is one that I got 15 years ago, and I bought it used. All I've had to do is change the batteries out on it. So the nice thing about that, you can find these calculators used. It's a little unfortunate that we continually use them, or that, I don't know. It's a little unfortunate that the prices haven't gone down. I guess it's really the issue here. This calculator is really not that advanced, and yet it still costs 120 bucks, something like that, if you buy it new. However, since these calculators do last forever, at least this style does with the LCD screen. I'm not sure about the backlit screens. I guess those might still be LCD. I'm not sure. In any case, the newer calculators, I'm not sure that they'll last quite as long, but we'll see. but if you find one of these calculators, as long as it's not, hasn't been thrown from a car or something like that, barring that sort of stuff, they tend to last forever. And so you can get them used, which means you can save money on getting those calculators. And when you're done with the course, you can recoup that cost by selling it to somebody else. So you're essentially just renting it. So yes, they are kind of expensive, but get a used one. Check out pawn shops. That's a good place. That's where I've seen some graphing calculators. If you know other students who have taken who've already gotten their math stuff out of the way, they might just give you their calculator if they're a friend. There's definitely lots of sources. As a last resort, you might try eBay or something like that. Craigslist is another option. Again, just trying to match up, just trying to meet up with somebody who's getting rid of an old calculator. And just a quick recommendation for when you get rid of your calculator, think of, when classes start up again, because that's when people are going to be looking for them. So now would be the time, would be a great time for somebody who's wanting to get rid of one of those calculators to sell them. All right, enough about that. Let's see. Instructor resources. You're not going to have that link. Let's see, lesson 0. So lesson 0, this is basically, this is your first assignment. And this is basically just a review of prerequisite material is what it says here. So this is stuff that by and large, I expect you should know most, if not all of it. Inevitably, there's going to be some stuff you need to brush up on, and that's the reason for this assignment. That's why I'm having you go through it. I know everyone in here has tested into here and you've already done all that sort of stuff, but if you took the placement test and maybe there was a big hole in the knowledge, but you got good enough on other things, you still tested into this class, well, you kind of want to address that hole in your knowledge. So it's a little bit long, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. But there really are a lot of prerequisites that you need to know for this course. So if I just click in here, you can see this talks about various algebraic expressions, and really the point of this is making sure that you know how to take something like this and write an expression that represents this data. So Tom studied T hours for the big test. Wendy studied 1/3 as long. So the time that Wendy studied, which I guess we're calling X or T. Oh, T is the time that Tom studied, whatever. Wendy studied 1/3 as long. So whatever she studied, it was 1/3 of the time that Tom studied. Being able to reword these things is actually really helpful in being able to translate them into expressions. So you can see what I said there is I said the time Wendy studied, that's going to be some number. The time she studied is 1/3 as long as the time Tom studied. So seeing that is in there, that you can kind of think of that as your equal sign. So 1/3 of the time that Tom studied. So 1/3, I'll do 1 divided by 3. I just did the slash to do division there on my keyboard. And the time that Tom studied, we call that T. So 1/3 T would be the amount of time that Wendy studied. So, this is a pretty straightforward one, but you don't want to kind of gloss over these. They certainly can be more tricky. If somebody is, I don't know, 3 inches shorter than somebody else or taller than somebody else or something like that, you have to think about the proper way to translate that into an expression, because you want to make sure that expression is going to be correct if you're using it. I'm not going to go through all these. This is just kind of a quick example. Now, if you do need help on these, first off, I want to point out there is videos for most of these, either videos or worked examples. You can see this one has a worked example. So find the value when a is -7 and b is -5 for a squared minus b squared. Page. Oh, apparently. Okay. So here's, you can see this is like it says a worked example. Find the value of the expression when a is -4 and b is -2. You plug stuff in, you turn it out, we get a 12. So there's your worked example. Apparently you have to hit resume to go back into it. One thing about navigating through this, you can see I didn't have to save my assignment when I was messing around. You can see that 1/3 T. As soon as I kind of moved on to the next question, it actually saved it. And this is kind of nice. I didn't even have to submit the question. Now, if you want to see if you got the correct answer, you would want to actually hit submit. And you can see hitting submit, you can see I did get the correct answer on that one. As you navigate through these, your progress will be saved. And when you finish an assignment, you don't have to fully hit, you don't have to hit submit or anything like that. Because it's saving your progress as you go, your grade is constantly updated. And the downside of that is if you pause in the middle of an assignment and oops, I have to pause. Yeah. I'll have to edit that out. Or something. Yeah, hopefully you didn't see anything. Nobody's actually done anything yet, so I'm gonna just navigate away from that page. I was expecting. So again, this is my first time using this particular platform. I'm not used to it yet, so I'm used to MyLabs Plus, where when I hit gradebook, it shows a gradebook for me, the instructor. It doesn't show everyone's gradebook where they are. So in any case, when you, let me navigate away and share my screen again. Okay, so as you complete your assignment, what you'll see is if you look in your grade book is it'll start off with really low grade because you've only completed 1% of the assignment. So you currently have a score of 1%. So don't let that throw you off if you're in progress in an assignment, I guess is what I was trying to get at. Just finish the assignment and then go look at your grade book. Let me think if there's anything else that I want to talk about here. I think that's enough for now. I've kind of talked your ears off already. Remember, you can see what your due dates are either when you're looking at these individual assignments. So this is the reviews. I split it into two parts. This first part is due this, what is that? This Thursday. So, I do want you to get started working through this review, and it is fairly long, but hopefully it's material you're already familiar with. So hopefully it shouldn't take too incredibly long. If you click on the calendar, you can see upcoming due dates. So you can see this lesson 0 part 1. Like I said, it was due Thursday, so there it is. And then the second part is going to be due next Wednesday. Technically, we have Monday off. And I wanted to make sure you had enough time to get through all of this without having to completely, just rush through it. So you have a little over a week to finish up all of this, this lesson 0 stuff. I'll post another video probably on Wednesday of next week, most likely. That's when I'll have time. Talking about, we're going to be starting to get into chapter 1 as soon as you're done with this lesson 0 stuff. So I guess I'll go ahead and leave it there. There's one more thing I wanted to show with the assignment. Sorry. Where is it? Let's go ahead and resume. If you click on message instructor, I want to show you how this works. You can select me as a recipient. I'm pretty sure you're not going to have the entire class on there, but I don't know. I'm not sure how this software works exactly. You can just type your question in here, say, why are we using T instead of X? Something like that. If you have a specific question, you can see when you hit message, it did actually copy the question down for you. So you could actually type something in here if you wanted to, refer specifically to something down here. This is a pretty handy way to be able to send messages. I'll hit send message, and just so you can see what happens on my end. Then in the messages area here, so back to kind of navigating MyOpenMath. If you click on messages, you can see messages that are sent back and forth. So when I respond to this, I think it'll show up in that same place for you rather than doing it via email. So clicking on here, you can see I can see your original question. And if I click there, I can actually see all the other stuff that was included as well. So that's a nice way for you to be able to ask me a question. If you want to, when you're typing in here, I guess I kind of glossed over this as well. You can do, there's all sorts of what do you call these? Things to do, you can add math symbols in here. So if you want to say like the sum of, I don't know, x squared plus 1 or plus 2. Now, you'll notice that when I type this normally, it didn't kind of interpret it. It just left it as x caret 2 plus 2. It didn't really make it nice. However, if I was to take that and put it over here inside these backticks, you can see where it says sum. If I was to do that in here, x squared plus 2, then you can actually make, you can kind of edit what the math looks like. I don't expect you to necessarily know how all of that works exactly, but it's something to kind of play around with if you're trying to make something look a particular way. Putting it in these backticks is the way that this messaging system allows you to tell, well, you tell the messaging system that, hey, this is stuff that should be interpreted as math. So you put it in those little backticks. The backticks on the keyboard are located typically to the left of your one key. So there's a tilde and the backtick. So if you press the back, that key, it'll actually, it does a closing one automatically, apparently. But you can do other stuff in here, x divided by 2. When I leave that, you can see it interprets it as x over 2. And if I move my cursor back over into it, I can change this. I can change it to times instead of divided by. And now when I use my cursor and leave that, it becomes x dot 2. It interprets that as the multiplication. So it's not stuff you necessarily have to play around with, but if you're going to be, especially if you're going to be doing stuff with math, if your major is going to be using this sort of stuff, it might be good to see how these sorts of programs interact, how they interpret some of these. I'm not sure that this is fully tech compatible, TEX, pronounced tech. If you're really going into later math, you'll probably deal with that later. But in any case, yeah, I'm getting on another tangent. So actually, I'm going to call it there. So hopefully this is enough of an introduction for you all to get work. Oh, you know what? I just realized something else I forgot. I should probably go by I have a list of topics that I should go through here, and I should probably be consulting that before I say I'm done. The last thing, this really is the last thing, it's the last one on my list, is this idea of late passes. How we're going to be doing assignments in this class. I do have actual assignments. This is due on Thursday, September 2nd. That's this coming Thursday. If, let's say, you get to Friday and you haven't completed it, you can actually, at the beginning of the semester, you should have right now 10 late passes. And how these late passes work is they extend a homework by 24 hours. So if you're a day late and you want to finish up a homework, you can you can tell it to use a late pass to extend, to get a day extension on that particular homework. If you need 2 days extension, you're gonna have to use 2 late passes. So, like I said, you have 10 late passes right now. So this should give you a little bit of flexibility. I plan on giving a few more late passes throughout the semester. I just don't want to give them all right off the bat. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly why. In any case, this is to give you guys a little bit of flexibility in those due dates without having to send me an email, be like, hey, I just need an extra day on this one. Can I keep working on it? So this is kind of pre-negotiated. You have 10 days worth of extensions that you can use up. If you're interested in how that works, just do a quick search for MyOpenMath late pass. And there's videos on YouTube. Actually, the guy walks through and does that and shows how they're used. So I don't think I need to duplicate that. He does a pretty good job of explaining it. All right, so that is actually everything I wanted to say. I'll see you guys around. Send an email if you haven't already, or send a post in the forums or something like that. say hi to somebody else, all that sort of stuff. All right. So I'll see you next time.